Good morning. It's great to be with you, see some familiar faces. My name is John. I'm a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. I perform under the band name Five for Fighting. Thank you. You may know a couple of my songs. You may have heard them in the dentist chair, wandering through Home Depot, perhaps in the casino outside. One is a song called Superman. Thank you. Superman was one of the songs that recognized the heroes of 9/11, kind of became an anthem for America. I was honored to play at the concert for New York. Another song is called 100 Years, that maybe some of you have used in your home movies for your families. And I'm here today to talk about something that I think is critical and something that is rarely addressed in these seminars, these meetings. And it is the critical need to deploy the arts in this war for civilization. The critical need to deploy the arts in this war for civilization. People always ask, and we were talking about it last night, Israel always wins the war, and they always lose the propaganda war. And why is that? Well, again, Douglas talked about that last night. There's a lot of reasons, but I would propose part of that is because we do not deploy the arts in a strategic way. And to be frank, the Republican Party almost has a disdain for the arts. I have worked on a few conventions. I could tell you some stories that would blow your mind, maybe at the bar later tonight. But I understand most of the iconic artists are leftist. It's annoying. They get on their soapbox. But as Andrew Breitbart said, our buddy Andrew, years ago, politics is downstream from culture. And if we cede the arts to the left, we are going to lose the second war that Douglas was talking about, the war for the soul of the world. And why is that? Why do the arts matter? Music, I would argue, holds the key to the heart, which is the first step in opening minds. Music is the key to the heart that is the first step in opening minds. It breaks down barriers, it breaks down borders. People listen differently to music. It provides solace, it provides inspiration. And it is the only way we get to the kids who are being indoctrinated through TikTok, Instagram, with the Free Palestine genocide propaganda. They don't watch Fox News. They don't read the Wall Street Journal. And I'll say something that may get me in trouble in this audience. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry, Norm. I would argue that one song can be more powerful than 10,000 speeches, op-eds, and I loved Randy's speech, I gotta say. And I see that. I see that firsthand in my career every night. Some of you know I wrote a song about Afghanistan called Blood on My Hands that was very critical of the Biden administration and became a voice for our Afghan veterans when we abandoned their allies. And initially when it came out, of course, the left shunned it, YouTube took it down. And when I would go perform in deep blue states and I'd start talking about Afghanistan, you could see the audience initially start to their eyebrows would go up, their hands would cross. And you could see the revulsion when I started talking about it. But when I said it was a moral message, and I talked about the fact that if it was a different party, the song would remain the same, and I played the song and I sang it with passion, you could see them start to listen, relax. And I would have conversations with people after my shows. Did they agree exactly what I was talking about? No, but we talked. We shook hands. Sometimes we hugged. I see the flip side of this when I go to deep red states and I talk about my song, Can One Man Save the World, that I wrote for Ukraine, who my co-writer is in the audience, and I won't mention his name. I don't want to embarrass him. But this song, I went to Ukraine, I performed with the Ukrainian orchestra, and when I talk about the fortitude of the Ukrainian people, I talk about the 72-year-old violin player who spent an hour teaching me curse words on how to curse Putin in Ukrainian. They start to listen. They start to listen. Only music does that. Only music does that. Now, the Israel-Gaza dynamic is harder. Some of you know I wrote a song called Okay, We're Not Okay, and made a video and released it after October 7th. And for me personally, it was quite a revelation because Israel shared that song on their social media. And very quickly, I understood in a small way what it's like to be Jewish in 2023. I'm not Jewish. You don't have to be Jewish to condemn Hamas. You just have to be sane. But when that song came out, I understood the vitriol, the death threats, the need for more security at my concerts. But what did that song do? It was a salvo. It was a missile in the culture war. For the first thing it did, it provided a certain solace to Jewish people around the world. I got tens of thousands of emails. Jewish people who felt abandoned by the arts because they had been. Finally, they saw somebody saying something that made sense to them, speaking their truth. It also put the other side on defense. And it had to be covered, because it went global, by the media. They had to show those pieces. That's the culture war we have to fight with music. More recently, and I'll be playing it tonight, we did a new version of my song Superman for the hostages. I did it with Adit Oel for her son Alone. We did a video with her son playing the yellow piano at Hostage Square. I did it from LA singing this song, and we put it out. And it got 30 million impressions. I was in Washington just the other night. I had a gig, and a couple came up to me afterwards and said, "Thank you so much for doing that new version of Superman." My son, who goes to a certain college, not my son, their son, they said he'd been indoctrinated by this woke propaganda. And he saw your new version of Superman on TikTok. And for the first time in 2 years, he asked about the hostages. He'd played your song as a kid. And I was happy the timing of that release. It basically came out the same time as Coachella and Glastonbury, when the whole music industry was basically a Hamas propaganda outlet saying F Israel, waving their flags for the whole world to see. But you know what Superman, our video, provided? It provided the counter narrative. It was about hope. It was about compassion. It was about truth. So you had this kind of raging mania of the music business here, and you had this young boy who'd been in a tunnel for 700 days with his family playing a piano of a song that everybody associated with 9/11. Of course, October 7th is our Jewish friends' 9/11. That is the battle for the culture war. I wish there was 1,000 more OKs. And we did it with about 20 grand and 2 tweets. Hundreds of millions of views. Imagine if we had an infrastructure. Imagine if we had 1 million bots. Imagine if we had a Mossad for the arts. And if you still don't believe me, let's do a quick little thought experiment. Imagine October 8, 2023. If every one of those icons that sat on the stage with me at the concert for New York and played for America and condemned Osama bin Laden on October 8th came out with one voice and said, "Release the hostages that you took from a peace concert." And when Hamas did not do that, imagine if they said, "We're going to do a We Are the World with the hostage families and put the world on notice that this is unacceptable." And when that didn't move Hamas, imagine if they said, Bono, Springsteen, all our musical betters who like to lecture us on human rights. Imagine if they said, "We're not going to play one concert until the Red Cross visits those hostages in Gaza." Imagine that world. Now, of course, we do not live in that world. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We can talk about it later. Why is the music industry, the arts, had this moral collapse? It's cowardice, it's useful idiocy, it's wokeism, it's all that stuff. But the time for lamenting is over. It's been over for a long time. So what can we do? Here's 2 things we can do. Initially, after October 7th, me and my pal David Azulai, who does all of the production for the big Israeli stars, we looked to do collaborations with non-Jewish artists and Israeli artists. It's great that Matisyahu and Idam Reichel do all these things, but it's basically you're speaking to your own people. But you need collaborations from non-Jewish artists. Frankly, many of the Jewish artists were resistant to that, and I don't understand why. But here's the big one. It's what we should have done and what we can still do. Imagine this. Imagine 6 months after October 7th, we had a Live Aid, we had a Sun City, we had a concert for New York, tight concert. And at that concert, we had Israeli artists, we had American artists, we had Ukrainian artists, we had Afghan artists, we had Iranian women. And at that concert, like the concert for New York, each band was introduced by iconic freedom fighters. Sharansky, who already told me he'd do it, Kasparov, Masi, and we streamed that around the world. What would that do? I'll tell you what that would do. That would take the dynamic out of Israel, Gaza, and flip it to good versus evil. Imagine Idan Golan, the heroine, singing with the contestant from Ukraine during that Eurovision contest. Imagine that image of these two iconic people, and the world would watch, the kids would watch. Imagine them singing a song together, and people would have to, in their mind, come to grips with, well, I love Ukraine, I support Ukraine, but why am I told to hate Israel? Here are these two people singing for the freedom, survival of their countries. That is how we win the second war. That is how we win the second war. And I've talked to billionaires, I've talked to artists, and everybody's like, it's a great idea. We have to do it, and it can't be a one and done, because each time we do it, we'll get more. We'll get people who are on the fence, people who've been afraid, and that is how the arts must be deployed in this war. I end my concert every night, and it's kind of cheesy, but I do my encore, and everybody's clapping, and everybody's standing and screaming. And the last thing I say is, fight the good fight. I just go, fight the good fight! But that's what we're doing. And people say, why do you do this? You're not Jewish. It's easy. It's easy to fight the good fight where you're on the right side. It's easy to fight the good fight when you're the good guy. It's not hard. It's actually kind of exhilarating. I see so many people that I've worked with and met and through social media, and see the fearless leader, Mark Levin, right here. It's like, it's easy to fight when you have good people. So I think, again, let's remember, to win the second war in hearts and minds, we have to use the arts. We have to use the arts. We are fighting the good fight, and I look forward to continuing to fight the good fight with each and every one of you. I'll see you tonight at our little concert. Thank you very much. Yeah.